was quite an opening, yeah, at Saleh's, papi.
It was beautiful. Saleh is very hard-working, contemporary, professional, with a lot of knowledge and a lot of hard work on his contacts, on his artwork, his plans. He plans ahead his future. It's very good. Very good, very good. And a good study.
Definitely.
And AYMAN is, this is, he really put up a very imaginative and daring and a show that has everything. The art, the position, the history is without being artificial about it.
And all the set was like super well thought. Well,
Yeah. It falls in place correctly. The whole work is, there is a reason behind it. It doesn't happen by bits and pieces here and there.
There was also a nice variety of people.
Yeah. No, it proves people want to have some authentic, even very difficult to, these people are not all of the same line of thinking of AYMAN, but he's made a position, he's made his mark. I wish my friend Adonis, the poet, was here. He would have been able to also project some original thinking. But
what's the name of that friend of yours, the one that you have the picture of him putting the makeup? Joseph?
Joseph Tarrab.
It was nice that he brought the article for...
Yeah. I'll show it to you now when we get home. It's fantastic. I've been trying to scan it in pieces to make one image out of it, but it'll take time.
You should put it on a frame, papi, that.
Keep
it well conserved.
Yeah. Eventually it'll be put in a frame, but I want to get that to integrate it into a digital artwork.
It was nice to see the people we had interviewed there. It was nice to see the people we interviewed all in one place. And Ashar even managed to come down. And Ashar even managed to come down.
He's a good man. Very...
You have a light, Paps?
Yes. I have a light for my kingdom. Here you are. I think I'll invite you all for a drink afterwards someplace.
We can do that tomorrow with the other guys also.
And tomorrow we'll be at, what's it called?
Blue Note.
Blue Note, where we'll have dinner. and drinks that will, you know, be the closure of your trip this time. Blue Note is good. Allah will pass by on returning to talk to them about tomorrow and to reserve the table.
I'm wondering, Paps, how did you start thinking about recovering your photographs, all your archive?
In reality, it was, you know, I moved them always with me. The last time I was in Barcelona some time ago, in a year or two ago, when I was there, I brought almost everything else. I don't know, I must be looking in Jafra and in the other, what's it called, reserve that we have, you know, to see if there are still some others, because that Miles Davis set of not prints, slides are unbelievable. Shots at night, I mean, in Kodachrome, without lighting, without anything, but they were impeccable. I will find them. But the idea came that I wanted them near me because I was spending much time, Pops, here. And the idea started with, you know, writing the book, so that your mom keeps on badgering me about, you should write, you should write. Well, it started by collecting, working your biography around what you did, what you saw, what you liked, what you registered. And seeing the photographs helped me a lot in recuperating the sequence. And luckily I keep all my passports, which I had for an artwork as well, about all this life of movement. And the passports allowed me to, you know, almost pinpoint where I was when, at what time, during the past 30 years. Because I have all these passports. Some earlier, when the Iraqi passport was Kingdom of Iraq, I don't know where they are. They're lost or... but the rest, I have a pack of them, including the Bolivian passport.
That will always remain. And when the idea of doing the film, Papi, came out about showing your pictures and so, how did you feel about it?
I was happy, but I was not, perhaps you know me, I didn't want, you know, when you write one book, I didn't want to write it about myself. It was more a kind of witness to what I went through, people I knew, all this sort of thing, to commemorate their lives as well as recall my life. But I don't do things in a self-centered way. That, when you did it only on that, okay, I liked it for you. You liked the project, it triggered your imagination, but secretly I thought it was too much, you know. But then when the idea was expanded to now, it that made it more balanced and worthwhile for me. I like it.
Let's see when we manage to make our exhibition, papi?
Yeah. That will come. But you have to take your photography work a bit seriously, perhaps. In the sense of developing it, seeing it, etc. And studying it, criticizing yourself for what you want to do. Because photography now is very competitive.
Sure.
Very competitive.
Have to get to scan all the negatives I have because it's
Yeah.
they're accumulating. I'm doing like you.
You shouldn't. That's a big mistake. And you should have a system on your computer to classify and to file them. There are special programs. Once I get my hands into one, I'll pass it on to you.
We're close to Al-Nahar, no, now?
Huh?
We're close to Al-Nahar, no?
Yes.
That's where you got your first job, no?
My
design.
first job, no. My first job was at Al Hurriya newspaper. That was while I was studying still. It was a militant weekly newspaper. And militant for the Palestinian cause, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine.
Sí.
At that time, I was doing design in it and sometimes writing things on art, on architecture, very rudimentary things. And the editor, executive editor, was a great friend and story writer, Rassan Kanafani. It is for him that I did my first book cover design. And then I started getting more and more involved in graphic art and what have you.
Sí. Didn't know that.
It's, then I took a job with a publisher. That was after I came back from Germany. And that was Paul Khayyat. He used to have the university bookstore in front of the university. And he was a very adventurous publisher. The project I went in to work on with him was an encyclopedia of classical Arabic poetry. And in the meantime, by the time the work finished, which it never finished,
Yeah, I can imagine.
because of the war, we were designing things of his current publications. One on Arabian Nights. We did a very complex brochure and its photography and design and text and so on Arabian Nights, a publication which a reprint of the English edition that he produced. He was very imaginative, this guy.
And how how did you get to know Francois and
Francois, when I started working at Al-Nahar, we call him the Rock. I mean, now he is 89. 89. He works. He's never missed a day. Not one day. Behind his desk. And since Al-Nahar was the leading institution and newspaper and so on, now it's gone down on its luck.
Yeah.
He still is the person that maintains it together. He's fantastic character. I wish we had a chance anyway. In the exhibition there will be quite different photographs of different faces. I always behind his desk.
And Papi, how did you get to know Riyadh?
Riyadh.
You were talking about it the other day.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, his brother, who's a doctor now, living in the States, was my friend. He was my generation and my classmate at university. And we were both of the same political grouping. And his elder brother, Riyadh, had come one day on vacation from Cambridge. And we met him, very nice man, and I was ready to go to England then. And that's it. We didn't even exchange phone numbers like now. Everybody has a mobile or something. So I went to London, and one night I decided to go walk near Knightsbridge, not Knightsbridge, in the West End.
Yeah, near Piccadilly or something.
Near Piccadilly, it was exactly near Piccadilly. And I was new to London, I knew nothing. And I hear Arabic talking ahead of me. A group of 4 or 5 people, blah, 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 talking very worked out. And I approach, and there was Riyadh, one of them. Hello, Riyadh. Oh, you know, you've seen how he receives people. He never changed since then. He introduced me to the others, who were all of the Arab Students' Union. And they were all going to eat in a very famous Indian restaurant at that time, and they invited me to join them. And then we established, a more regular relationship. And we kept on corresponding when I returned to Beirut. I hope he can sift through his archives, because I had quite few interesting sketches and notes that I used to send him. But then in Beirut, and we became friends. Now his memory is a little bit, like all of us. But the basic structure is very good. He's a good man.
And you, Paps, when you left, when you left Lebanon, when the war started, where did you go first?
In fact, we went together. This is where his either memory or auto censorship. We went together. We were doing a job in partnership. After we had done the desk diaries and the annual reports and things in Singapore, he wanted to move to London to establish a daily Arabic newspaper. And that was a visionary project. And because we were, you know, it was based on our experience. I wasn't interested in journalism. I said, you know, you do what you like. I prefer to dedicate myself to art books and things, you know, every now and then in my field of interest. And that was it. We stayed in London, worked together for a little while until we had some differences that precipitated a breakout of our friendship for a period. And at that time, he reduced his project because, as he told you, his organization and is not as good as his ambitions, you know. And he made a library which was interesting, but then also just didn't reach completion. That period of difference drove me to go back and look for design work in Baghdad, where I had established some good relations. And I got some interesting jobs that put me back in track. Then my girlfriend of the time, Sonia, was also his wife is my closest friend. He is my closest friend, but we were not on speaking or social terms. But Sonia, who was also a friend of both sides, kept on insisting and trying to find the time and the occasion that we meet again, which we did, and we picked up where we left, you know. He came and visited me in Spain, in Barcelona.
For how long did you stay in Paris, Paps?
In Paris, 11 years. 11 years.
From 78 or so to...
From 1778. Then I date it usually by when I opened the gallery, which was 79. But it was 78 that I was in Paris. Take it. So, then I started the gallery and I stayed till maybe 91 when I closed the gallery. But in 90, I had already decided on the move to Barcelona.
Now, Paps, these days that you've been with us in the interview, so now it's the time to ask you the question of the graffiti.
Well, no, in reality, I think the graffiti it's a good question, but it's too broad a question to be put on a wall. You know, the graffiti is interesting. I have never seen it, but as a question and an answer, in reality, I really wish I knew Lebanon when it had its problems as well, but it had much less of them. And it was an environment which was conducive to creativity. It was an environment conducive to a kind of continued dialogue between people. It was an environment where we didn't know or have any differences whether this friend was a Muslim or a Christian or a Druze or a Jew or anything. We were very liberated from all these garbage concepts that we see now. And now we see the concept garbage and the garbage itself, which is, that's why I really hope, I don't hope that Lebanon goes back, but at least it rediscovers its potential qualities.
Hopefully.
Well, some could be optimistic, one should be, but there is a good number of people that think maybe in its modern configuration as it was, because we were really all configured after the First World War. We were in a mandate from then on until you know these virtual reality independences. So before we were inside the Ottoman Empire. The region is called the Arab region, and we grew up, our parents grew up thinking of it as a unified region, you know. I remember when I was a kid and we traveled to Syria, to Egypt, to Iraq, to Jordan, you barely needed your passport even to cross a frontier. Now you practically need a visa between every other Arab country for an Arab. And that's stressing, culturally stressing, politically stressing, economically stressing.
Definitely.
It's stupid.
Are there many, I was thinking about it, are there many Palestinian camps from the Civil War still?
No, before the Civil War, Palestinian camps started when Israel came and shipped everybody out by, terror, by massacre, by collusion with what we never believed. All the Arab systems, because they didn't have any their own political will. In Lebanon, there are 5, 6, 7 Palestinian camps. There are generations born and raised in the camp, people that are not allowed an identity, or they are in Syria. The Syrians, because they have some still precipitates of unity concept. A Palestinian in Syria is treated like a Syrian in everything. He can enter in the army, he can get free education, he can get exactly the same. But he retains his identity only. You know, but here in Lebanon, they are not allowed to work. You know, you sit in the, well, they want to, they don't have infrastructure of, you know, water like we get it. Anyway, we don't get water anymore properly. Electricity has to be through juggling with motors and things, and it's like this. And they became during the Civil War the focal point of factional support or hatred, you know, and depending in what faction you are. It's really a tragic situation. Tragic, I mean, this is tragedy, and the world looks at it as statistical problem.
How was it lived amongst the Lebanese people? How did they live the massacre of Sabra and Shatila?
Lebanon by then was already divided into people pro-Israelis and people who are still against, you know, like now. Because Israel was an occupation force in Lebanon. And Sabra and Shatila was a collusion between the Israelis and the Phalange movement. And it came out in finally Israeli memoirs and investigations and whatever. It's you should read. It's in Robert Fisk's book, very well documented.
Do you think that in Syria it will happen like in Lebanon, that generations are it will happen like Palestinians, that generations will be born in the camps? No,
but in Syria there are no camps. The camp is a zone elected to be developed by the state, like, you know, the highway passes straight through like it passes for the main city. The water, the electricity, the schools, everything. It's called Mukhayyam, but it's a city, proper planning, architecture, everything. And Syrians live in it. It's not a barricaded camp like here. Here, in Saida, in Tripoli, in the Bekaa, it's camps. It's really, they call it refugee camps, but it's really a kind of concentration.
Now that you said about the Bekaa, how do you feel that Baalbek has changed since?
Yes, it has changed, because what we are referring to is 50 years almost of difference, and the Bekaa area was the fertile ground for the militarization of what was Amal first, then it became Hezbollah. And the fabric of society changed. And you can't go easily in the same kind of freedom you used to have before, and sit on the river and have a drink, have a smoke, or now it's the community is much more, much more formalist in its. They observe that the majority who are the political power really, and the social power and the financial power and the every kind of power are the ones that are sitting and defending the country, and people of the region there accommodate them for not to confront, I drink, you don't drink, or something like that. And you can see it in their social behavior. They're hijabs, okay, this is how society changes its habits. So you can see that even in the American side, the American university here, some people start taking their religious identification more as a personal commitment, and they want to do it. Okay, I personally, although I don't believe in any religion, but I respect people's choices. You want to be religious and go to church, do what you want. You want to believe in scripture and holy texts, okay, go. For me, I would like to read what it's all about. If it means something in my mind, I'll debate it, I'll see how it can fit in life, that's all. Like any philosophic or text. But you feel up to a quick bite?
I think
the drink?
They're waiting for us for...
If they're waiting for you, then you're missing. No problem. Next time you come here. But on the other hand, how did you get along with your Beirut professional test?
Well, the Beiruti rhythm, it's the tough part because you never know.
Yeah.
But good. It was too short. The timing was too short.
Absolutely.
But
you did a lot of work. I like that.
You have a light, Paps?
Yes.
And it's not finished yet, so...
Yeah, there's a lot more to do there. And here, maybe.
But next time, after we finish the whole project and so, when I come here calmly for a couple of months, I have to get my Arabic straight, get my passport, finally.
Next time you come, we can do that very quickly.
Where is the camp that Katanani works in?
Sabra and Shatit.
Ah, is it? Ah.
It's in Sabra. No, that is really, especially not because of only the camp, it's because of the artist. Katanani is a bit more of a surprise on the art scene, even than AYMAN.
Sure.
You know, AYMAN is the natural growth of a Lebanese in Lebanon. Katanani did the academy, you know, but none of what he's doing is what he is taught in the academy. This is after he just got that piece of paper.
Definitely, he set himself free afterwards.
And he set himself free. That's his medium and subject matter is unbelievable, unbelievable.
In which area, Babs? Do the cedar trees?
Pardon?
The cedar trees of the flag. Where in Lebanon do they grow?
Which cemeteries?
No, the cedar trees.
Cedar trees.
Cedar
It's
trees.
two regions. One is called the Cedars. That's the oldest.
Is that the one where we went for
Biblical.
Christmas and all that it
Still
snowed?
further up.
Further up.
Further up, you get there, you see cedar trees that are millennial. And the other region is after Beit Din into the mountains. It's called the Baruch area. It's like on the road of Damascus to the right. That's a region, and that's a very well, luckily, that Jumblat, Walid has, it's his feudal fiefdom in that area, and at the same time he has a sensitivity for the environment. So you see his region, that shit that you see in Beirut or other, in that area it looks like virgin land. Fantastic, very clean, very structured, and he managed to get the Baruch area to be considered as a national park.
Sure.
You know,
Oh, that's good.
which is
Paps, Sabiha, she was a teacher, no?
she was associate professor at the university,
At which university?
American University.
Because I remember at her home she had that medal that they gave her.
Yeah. She studied first at this other college, which is near her house.
Sure.
Then she didn't know any English, nothing. She started because she had to. We were young. And she did her BA at AUB. She did her master's there as well. And then she started supervising master thesis. Then she moved and joined the government working as cultural attaché, assistant as cultural attaché at the Iraqi embassy here.
I've always wondered, why do you think that Lebanon was, during the Cold War, such a strategic place? Because we always talked about this.
How's that?
During the Cold War,
Yeah.
that Lebanon was this.
Because it had easy access, and it's a very nice atmosphere. So the British actually founded a school to teach the language in the village of Shamlan, which is where the I don't know if you ever been there. It's a little village that was past my school, near my school area, the second village after my school. And it's a beautiful area, and they established a school to teach foreign officers Arabic, and and not only Arabic. I remember as well how to write properly. A great calligrapher that taught us at school. He's a master calligrapher. Sheikh Nasib Makarim used to teach them also writing, calligraphy. And when they used to come to our schools to attend classes and sit for exams like all of us, and seeing how they write Arabic was better than any of our students by far. They were a school of spies. Literally, as it turned out. Finally, they closed it. And from there came Kim Philby, came Peter Blake, came whole generations of British espionage thing. As for the others, the Russians also used it as their, because it's easy to come to it. The French used it because they knew it long time ago. The Americans used it, but the Americans were a bit too flagrant using their force. So one of these days, they used their Air Force often to bomb camps, to bomb the nationalist groups in Lebanon. So one of these days, in Blowback, you saw, and that happened, that explosion, when they had all the National Security Agency and CIA top-notch people who are operating on the Middle East in a meeting then, that day. And the director of the Middle East region was killed in that
Robert Ames.
In that explosion. It's interesting.
It's interesting how such a small country
it's unbelievable.
Was so important for everyone.
Yeah. The country is not important. It's the region that's important for them. country became of strategic importance after the July war in Lebanon, you know. And in the 10 years that followed, where the Hezbollah, after not being liquidated by Israel as the Americans would have wished, even became a strategic ally of the the Syrians, the Iranians, the Russians. It's in that camp. So Lebanon becomes important for them, for the Americans now.
Here we are.
Okay, gentlemen and lady,
Thank you.
you are most welcome. All right, all right, all right.
Yes, give it to me.